Hello, it's time for Flashback, the weekly history quiz. Let's find out what's happened in history. We're starting in 1924. This is appropriate. The Paris Olympics debut a motto from a Dominican priest who loved sports: faster, higher, stronger. That's pretty good. Of course, it's the centenary of the 1924 Paris Olympics, so they decided to do another one. Watched the opening ceremony the other day. It was very, very fun. Anyway, Michael Phelps, 15, starts his Olympic career in Sydney. He forgets his ID card and to tie his swimsuit. He'll later be the most decorated Olympian ever. Yes, it is quite a record. Obviously, that's much more recent. I mean, certainly well within my lifetime. So there we go, 2000. Okay, Jesse Owens wins 4 golds in Nazi Berlin. When asked how he ran so fast, he said he imagined a red-hot track and let his feet touch it as little as possible. It's going to be something like 1934. It's in the 30s, clearly, but 36. Okay. Struggling with the high jump, Dick Fosbury perfects a new approach, going backwards. His flop wins gold in Mexico City and becomes the standard. Yes, the Fosbury flop, and a very amusing name for what became the standard high jump practice. I think this is the 70s, probably. No, 1968, so a little bit before the 70s. The U.S. Dream Team wins basketball gold in Barcelona. Michael Jordan also studied his teammates so he can beat them back in the NBA. He does. Right. This was 96 or 92, maybe? It's certainly the 1990s, that's for sure. So I can put it here. 92. Okay. As Olympic ceremonies grow more elaborate, the Los Angeles Games start with a man flying a jetpack and end with Lionel Richie's All Night Long. I think Los Angeles was in 1984, so it was. Actually, never mind. I was going to say, I could have used, knowing that there was a 1984, I could have used that to work backwards to figure out, but that would have been a complete waste of time. Anyway, Margaret Abbott, who studies with Degas, becomes the first female Olympic champion, but doesn't know it. She figures it's a local golf tournament. Ridiculous. Amazingly good story. So that, plus sort of just how the photograph kind of looks, makes me think it's going to be quite early. I mean, it would have to be very early to be at a point where the Olympics, it wouldn't have been incredibly obvious that the Olympics was happening. You couldn't accidentally win an Olympic event in the sort of modern era. So the question is, do I think it's before or after 1924? Probably before. I mean, the really early, very, very tail end of the 19th century into the early 20th century Olympics were absolutely fascinating. They had painting competitions and sculpture and architecture and all these weird things. Obviously, golf is pretty normal, but I don't know. I'm going to say before. 1900, right. It's funny because I wonder what the rules around women competing in the Olympics even were at that time. I suspect the Olympics were a much less controlled affair than they are now. Obviously, it would have to be given this situation. Anyway, in Montreal, Nadia Cometti earns the first perfect 10 in Olympic gymnastics, a feat thought impossible. Even the scoreboard breaks. Right, okay. Well, it's embarrassing that I don't know. I mean, I definitely know the name Nadia Cometti, but I don't know. I honestly don't remember well enough to be able to just place this immediately. It's going to be sometime between 1968 and 1992. Oof, I don't know. I mean, it could be before 1968 as well. I just mean somewhere in this area. Oh, boy. Let's see. So we have the 90s, the 80s, the 60s, the 70s maybe? Could be the 50s. I guess it could be earlier 1960s. I don't know. I'm just going to go with something because this is a waste of time. Oh, good. 1976. Okay, that was it. Great. Soviets crushed the Hungarian uprising. A few weeks later at the Olympics, determined Hungarians beat the USSR in water polo, a symbolic victory. I assume this would have to be between 1936 and 1968. No, I guess it could be. Oh boy, how do I not know this immediately? Could it be before 1936? I don't know. I'm going to put it here. It was okay. Good, 1956. Oof. Okay, boy, I should have been able to get that immediately. Anyway, there we go. That was the flashback. Let's look at the stats. Okay, so fairly even spread today. Let's look at what people tripped on. Oh, right. Okay. Nearly half of people misplaced Margaret Abbott. I'm not surprised. I could have, I mean, I really wasn't sure about this, especially not knowing the sort of history of sort of gender restrictions in the Olympics. But anyway, let's see. Just about everyone got Jesse Owens right. It would be surprising if that weren't the case. A quarter of people misplaced the Hungarians beating the USSR in water polo. Just about everybody got Dick Fosbury. About a fifth of people misplaced Nadia Cometti, which again, I easily could have. Another fifth of people misplaced the Los Angeles Olympic Games. This one's interesting. 12% of people misplaced the U.S. Dream Team winning basketball, which, I mean, fair enough. I wonder if they thought it was earlier or later. And then finally, just about everybody got Michael Phelps, which you'd have to, given it was the first placement. All right. Well, there we go. That was the flashback. Back next week with more of this. Bye for now.